Hello, friends. Welcome to Coding Garden with CJ. Welcome to Code Wars Code Katas, episode 49. If you are new to the show, you can go to codewars.com, and this is a website with user-submitted coding problems that you can attempt to solve and get better at coding. They range in difficulty, all the way from 8Q, which is the easiest, all the way up to 1Q, which is the hardest. I don't know exactly what we're going to be doing today. I know that we do have at least one user submission that's 5Q that I think I'm going to give a try. And if you go to github.com/codinggarden/code-katas, you can see all of the solutions from past episodes. And if you have a suggestion for a kata for me to solve, you can add it as an issue here. And I do believe this is going to be the one that we get started with, this 5Q. And earlier today, there was someone mentioned one in the chat, David, with the resub. Thank you so much. I think that's officially the first like resub. Yeah, and David says hi. Thank you very much, David, for the resub. I appreciate you. It is free. Yeah, it's absolutely free. All the problems are user submitted, which is good and also can be a bad thing because the problem description might not be the best. But that's part of the problem, is understanding the problem itself. So we'll probably get started with this one. Before we get into all that, let's say hello to everyone. And also, if anyone in the chat, if anyone appears and shows up and they're like, hey, what are we doing? Just do ! Project. That'll give them all the links you need. There's Code Wars site. There's a list of katas, past solutions, all the previous episodes, all that good stuff. Let's say hello. Hello. Hey. Check out Jitter Ted. He's a member of our Live Coders team. And he knows what we're doing because I just explained it. That's okay. I don't mind saying it again. Hey, hello, hi, afternoon, morning. If you say any of these things, I will respond to you. I will acknowledge you. What else? What's the word of the day? Lemon. Today's word is lemon. Wait, yeah, and all the chats from earlier are here as well. I don't want to look at those. I want to look at ones. Acid Spark with the resub. Thank you so much. It's happening. This is officially 1 month since I enabled partner on my channel, and so it's happening. It's happening. 2 months. Thank you so much, Acid Spark. I appreciate you. The overlay is not using the components, no. I've got a lot more work to do. But hello, Mint Jim, and David, and Dr. Vim, and Jorge, and Acelera, and Doc, and Quim Vinicius, who's watching me live for the first time. Well, welcome, Quim. And hello, Rollers. I don't know what a kata is, but I'm here at 2 a.m. Well, thank you, Nicolo. Thanks for being here. And hello, Zach, and Ludragon. And Chief Mustardo, welcome, and Yassine, and Bart, and Grenade Raven. What's up, Jitter Ted? The meeting was good. It was actually, so my company does an all-hands meeting every Monday, where everybody can just catch up and know how the company's doing and all that good stuff. And this one of the main topic was actually about burnout. And so they, because my company actually allows unlimited vacation, and they allow, we have Flex Fridays, so every other Friday, half the company takes the day off, but being that we've been working home for the past couple of months, not really anybody is flexing or taking vacation, so we talked about that, which was good. Well, welcome, Goro. Still wanting to learn my real name. Well, just call me CJ. I didn't even think about that. We'll maybe do something this weekend. I mean, the Saturday stream is definitely going to be long. We're going to be working on, what do you call it? The home inventory app, it's been a while since we revisited that. And hello, Vladimir, and Chief Mustardo, and Astyanix. How is everyone? Lemon. What's up, Yassine? Dream job. There was a question earlier. I think I missed it. Yeah, from Astyanix. Do I use ring light? If I do, can I put it on your equipment page? Oh, no, I don't use ring light. I just use softboxes. I use these. I've got one here, one over there, and then one right here. Yeah. Jello. Hello, Ran. Welcome. Hola, what's up, baby? What's up, baby? How are the lemons today? I don't know. How is it in your room? My room is good. I'm in the basement of my house. It's a pretty decent temperature. I feel content. So I think I'm ready to go. So I'll mention about Code Wars again. They do range in difficulty. So 8Q is the easiest, and these are great for just getting started. And I'll show you how to navigate the site really quick. Before I do that, there's a comment from Acid Spark. I saw a study that said people who work jobs with unlimited vacation on average took less vacation. Exactly. That's the thing. Because it is unlimited, no one wants to look like a jerk for taking too much vacation, so then they end up taking less vacation. But we talked about that openly in our company today. HackerRank is just different. HackerRank is a lot more closer to and focused on, I guess, like interview style problems, whereas a lot of these are just problems. Problems for getting better at coding. And thank you, Chief Mustardo, for that hydrate. I'll open up. Here's a little ASMR for you. I don't know if that is ASMR. Hello, Siva. Thank you, Lithium, for that follow. What's up, Bob? 5-minute break. No. Whoever invented unlimited vacation was an evil HR genius. What's up, Doc? And thank you very much, Refactorer, for the resub. I didn't even realize this was going to happen, but this is the 1-month anniversary of enabling affiliate on my channel. Yeah, so that's great. Thank you all for the resubs. I appreciate your support. So many Twitch pre-rolls lately. That's unfortunate. I think if I ever get partnered, I might have more control over that. I don't really know, because I don't like ads. I would disable them entirely if I could. It's 3:30 in Poland, so I'm going to bed. No worries, Bart. Thanks for being here. Add this 5-minute break to my next break. I will do that. Let me not forget. We will take a break after this first kata. Okay, I'll show you how to navigate this website. So you can choose from many different languages. I like to do JavaScript. It's just what I do around here. And here's what I like to do. Under status, if you click on, you definitely want approved. Beta are going to be some problems that potentially don't have good tests, or they have bad tests, or they haven't really been proven. So you definitely want to choose approved. And then under progress, I choose katas that I have not trained on, so I always see new problems. And then under sort by, this is the key, sort by most completed. Because if you sort by most completed, then you're going to find ones that other people have been able to complete as well, and you're going to have a much better time. The reason being, like I mentioned, these are user-submitted problems, so some of the newer ones might not have the best descriptions or the best tests. And 8Q is the easiest. If you're just getting started with programming, this is a great place to practice and learn more things. You can also filter. If you filter by like basic language features, you can learn more about a language. Today, we're going to start right around the middle. I mean, this is like moderate difficulty. This is a little bit more than medium, I would say. But there was a question that was submitted by David, who is a mod here. And this problem is called field chained HTML formatting. We want to create an object with methods for various HTML elements, div, p, spans, h1, for the sake of this kata. These methods will wrap the passed-in string in the tag associated with each. So, for example, we have this object called format. It has functions on it like div, p, span, h1. You pass in a string, and then you must return an HTML string of that particular element type that wraps that text, right? Lenient vacation days. I like that, instead of unlimited. HackerRank has made me feel like I'm terrible at software development. I can see it. Some of the problems are really, really hard on HackerRank. But they are more focused on like computer science style interview questions, whereas these are more like, I don't know what to call them, but they're not as hard, and it's good to build up your skills and not get demotivated so easily. Yeah, David is mentioning, when I started, I thought 8Q was the hardest because in my mind, bigger meant harder. Yeah, it's the reversed. Yeah, leak code is another one. And hello, Salvi. Stretch your brain. Okay, so that's the basic idea here. We have these functions. They need to return HTML strings. Simple, right? It gets a little bit more complex. You need to be able to chain them. So you need to do something like format.div.h1, and that returns an HTML string that has an h1 nested inside of a div with the with the text inside of it. And if you do div p span, so it can go infinitely deep, and you need to return a string. We as deep as we care to use. Multiple arguments are just concatenated, and the methods should be reusable. So for example, if I don't chain them, if I say format.div and then wrapped in div, I should get that, but I should be able to take that variable and chain it as well. So this one is actually pretty tricky. We're going to use a lot of like potentially I want to say functional programming concepts, but at the same time we're probably going to be using object-oriented programming concepts, because it makes sense to have like a class and instance. We might have to do currying, I'm not totally sure, but it makes sense to have like an instance that returns itself when you access a property, but then when you invoke it, it will actually run something. We'll see. I don't know if we're going to have to use proxies. We may have to use proxies, because then we can detect whether it's a property lookup or a property invocation, but we'll see. And then finally, you should be able to nest calls. So you should be able to basically have calls like this, but the thing is, if you code it correctly, it's going to work to begin with, because this returns a string, this returns a string, and our original div function just concatenates two strings together. So this is what we're going to need to build. We can write our code over on the right, and down here we have some example tests. Now, because this is such an in-depth problem, I am going to set up a full test suite. I'm going to set up, hint, I will probably need proxies. Okay, so, but I'm going to set up a full test suite, mainly because like you only get so far with just console logs, and a test suite is gonna help us out in like really getting this stuff going. Yeah, yay tests. We don't do a lot of testing around here, but when we do, we try. I don't know. It looks interesting, and by interesting I mean hard. Yeah. Have a good stream. Stuck with a work emergency. Oh no. Well, best of luck, liquid oxygen. And hello, Sophia. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to bring the code down locally, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to set up a directory that's ready for testing. So I'm going to create a folder with this name, filled chained HTML formatting. Do it without proxies. I'll try. We'll see if it's possible. I think it should be. It should be, right? It should be. Maybe. Hello, seriously. Welcome. Yeah, so we're going to make a directory called filled chained HTML formatting. We're going to take a quick stretch. We're just getting started, but that's okay. Yes, we will be using JavaScript. Okay, so in this directory, I'm going to do an npm init. This gives us this package.json file, which will list all our dependencies. And in this, I'm actually going to use jest as my test runner. So I'm just going to npm I jest. Should be possible, yeah, because I'm thinking the thing that we return is a function. And if that, and a function can have properties on it. So the function itself is like the base function that returns the string, whereas the properties are the instance with all the different types of things. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. Okay, so I think we're kind of good to go. I am going to open up VS Code directly in this folder. And because we're here, let's go ahead and install ESLint as well. So that'll give us some help with our code style. Thank you very much, Mr. Demon Wolf, for that host. Welcome, welcome. And thank you for that hydrate as well. Posture check. Okay, so we have ESLint, and now let's set it up. So ESLint is a tool that does this. It checks syntax, finds problems, and enforces code style. And everyone should check out Mr. Demon Wolf. He's also a member of our Live Coders team. So we're going to do this. We are just using common.js because we're in node.js. And we're not using any front-end stuff. We're not going to use TypeScript. And we are running in node.js. And I'm going to use the Airbnb style guide because it makes all the decisions for me. Good evening, Swarblocked. Welcome. And thank you, Grum, for that follow. Morning from the land of no sleep. Well, welcome, Duskoost. Hopefully you're doing okay. I've used Vim before. I don't prefer it. Cool. And we are ready to go. So I'm just going to create a file called index.js. This is where all of our code is going to go. And then I'm going to create another file called index. .test.js. This is where all of our tests are going to go. Now, let's go ahead and copy over the code that we have. Maybe I should also override value of and toString. Yeah, I definitely need to override toString because of scenarios like this, where I need to make sure that the toString function returns the result of invoking it to get the string back anyways. Okay, so that's going to go in there. And we do want to export this. So we're going to say export default format. No. That's not where we are. We're in node.js land. I mean, technically, we could use exports like that, but I'm just so used to doing it this way, and I get caught up when we do it the other way. Eventually, everything will just be this. And thank you, Bob, for that focus mode. All right, 8 minutes of dedicated focus time to get this set up and start going. Thank you, Clementino. Thank you very much. Okay. And what am I making? I'm working on Code Wars Code Kata. So before we get into this focus mode, you should get some links. My bot's being a little slow. Well, not my bot. Streamlabs. There it is. There's all the links. And actually, I'll link you to this particular problem. This is the problem that we're solving right now. Right? Oh, that's not it. That was the wrong thing. This is the problem that we're solving. All right. We're going to go into focus mode for 8 minutes. Let's do it. Okay, so this exports this format function, and then we're going to import the format function into our tests. So we'll say like const format equals require that index file. And then we need some tests. So I'm actually going to copy and paste the tests that we have on Code Wars. But the thing is, Code Wars is actually using Chai, which is an expectation library, and we're using Jest. First off, let's fix all the linter errors. That's great. In my linter file, I can tell it that I am in a Jest environment, so I can say Jest true, and that way it knows about describe and expect, so that's good. And then the thing about Jest is it does things a little bit different. So to equal should actually be to be, like that. And you can see now I have a bunch of failing tests, but I'll go ahead and run them from the command line just to show you that they are failing. But I have this cool editor extension installed that runs those Jest tests. Okay, so test should run Jest. That's how tests will work. And then if I do npm test, we should see a bunch of failing tests because I haven't implemented anything yet. And the first failing test says format.div is not a function. That is fine. We will fix that. Now, a naive implementation, especially like if this is the only thing that you had to solve, it would be very easy to just create 4 separate functions, right? A function called div, a function called p, a function called span, and a function called h1. And maybe we do that, but we could potentially do something that makes it reusable. But the issue is, and where it gets tricky, is when you start to chain these functions, right? So let's do this. I'm actually going to, I think I want to create a class. I think I do. I guess we could technically just do it with functions. I'm going to flip a coin. Do I have a coin? I don't have a coin. We're not going to use classes. We are not going to use instances of things. We're just going to have this format function. Okay, so I think I kind of need a function called like a math.random. Let's do that. No, I'm not going to do class because almost every time I've done TDD or tests, done it with tests, I almost always use classes, and you don't have to. Yeah, math.random is greater. Yeah, let's just say that it was greater than a half, and we are not going to use object-oriented programming. Okay, so let's call this an element formatter. We'll probably come up with a better name for it. But this is going to be a function that takes in, I guess for now we can say the text content. Just call it text. And it also takes in the tag type. And then, so here's what I'm thinking. It's a function that takes in the tag type, like div or p or span, and then returns a function that you can pass the text into, which in turn returns the element itself. So this would actually just return like a template literal with the opening and closing tag, and the text inside of it, like this. And so what I could do is I could say format.tags.forEach. So for each tag that's on here, we're going to put a new property on format. So I could say format at that tag name. So format.div, format.p, format.h1 equals an element formatter with that tag name, right? And so this should work for the base case here. So if we need a div, we're going to get back a function that will return us a div. We invoke it with like hello world, and then we get back a div with hello world inside of it. And what this is doing is it's dynamically adding properties to the formatter, each one being a function. So let's see where we're at with our tests. 2 passing tests. Wow. So it should wrap an input in the correct element. Let's look at that test to see what it's testing for. So the easiest case works beautifully, right? The easiest case where we just have one call, great. But I have not accounted for what if we start to chain these things, right? And that's where we're breaking. We can set this up for multiple arguments though. So foobar should just join them all together. So that's easy enough. This function can now take in multiple, let's call it texts. And then we'll just join all of those together on the empty string. And then we have another passing test. But where it gets tricky is how to actually chain them. And that's the problem we're here to solve today. Because yeah, this is fine. Oh, that one works too. Yeah, this is actually the only one that's failing. We need to write more tests is what we need to do. But format.div should return an object that in turn can be invoked. Now, yeah. How are we going to do this? I don't really know. Probably need some help from the chat on what are some better tests that I can write. I mean, this is a good basic test of being able to. Actually, I want to see this. I want to see this test. Tag property should have other tag properties. So I can expect format.div to have property h1. Is that a valid just expectation? Function anonymous. So format.div to have property. Expected path h1, receive no paths at all. So I think this is a good test. How can we make it so that way when I directly access this function here, it has properties on it? Now, I think what I could do, I don't think arrow functions can have properties on them. I think that's only a property of the actual function keyword. But what if I say format at tag equals format? It's format all the way down. Does that give it the property? It breaks all of my other tests. Let's see. What is the error that I'm getting? Or am I getting an error? Form.div.h1 is not a function. Form.div is not a function. Yeah. Oh, no. Sorry. Form. Wait, no. I need to extend it. I need to do something like an object assign. I could say format tag equals itself with all of the properties of format. But then it's just an object. Yeah, let's go back to what we had. There's a good suggestion from Acid Spark who says, look to see whether it's passed in as a function or text. Return appropriately. So I mean, this should make the test pass except for that one. Now we have 3 passing tests and 1 failing test. We need to get this to have a property. And so what I think we need to do is we need to turn this into an actual function, not an arrow function. This returns a function. Instead of an arrow function, because a function can have properties. This is an anonymous function. That's okay with me. Let's call it element func. But this language is JavaScript. So if it returns a function, so right now we do element formatter at tag. This is going to give us the element func. And then English. Hello, infected node. So this gives us back this function. That's what's inside of this variable here. And we want this variable to have all of these properties as well. I guess what I could do is, I mean, I could iterate over the tags. What I kind of want to do is I want to say, yeah, I think we could set this up first. So, okay, let me think through this. Call element formatter for every tag. So that's, but basically we need to do it again. So that's why I'm thinking this might need to be what do you call it? Like, might potentially recursive function. So this sets up every item, and then here we can say format at, we can iterate over the tags again. I might be getting myself into a mess here, but just bear with me, because we can say format at tag equals format at tag. Wait, do I need this? For each is not, I mean, it's only async if you're doing asynchronous things inside of it. Otherwise, it is technically synchronous. And hello, She.mo. Welcome, welcome. And what's up, Razor1? And thank you, Abdelaziz Wolverine, for that follow. Create a class for every tag where they all extend from the base class. We are not using object-oriented programming. that's why I haven't approached that yet. What did John redeem? Take a break. Oh, wait, we have 2 breaks in the queue. And hello, HTT Fate. Welcome, welcome. Well, thank you. Cool. This is a 5Q. Okay. This code is bad. But basically what I want is, actually I don't want it to, do I want, for every tag, that's going to give us the tag. And then we want to iterate again. I guess I don't necessarily need that. Wait. Hey, you're very welcome. And hello, Daniel Garden, and use all the things, and JD. Welcome, welcome. Okay, I think this is what I need. So, can I just do this on the first pass? Because that will set a property that sets it equal to the element itself. However, no, I think I need to do it in the second pass because it may be undefined. So this puts all the properties, and then now that sets the properties. Now, do we have the property h1? Tag property should have other tag properties. No. Because element formatter is giving us back a function. Do I want to say like dot prototype or something like that? How can I add a property to a function? I think I want prototype. JavaScript. Add property to a function. Huh, and thank you, Could, for that hydrate. Team. Yeah, if you do exclamation mark badges, you can, wait, what do you mean team? Yeah. Exclamation mark badges will explain it to you. Add properties while running the function. Okay. Okay. Add properties after defining the function. Yeah, so we had that function. That's what we were trying to do. So that's what I thought we were doing here. Because we defined the function. It's now stored in here. And then we're saying that function... oh. Wait. No. No? So this will be like div at div equals div. This will be like h1 at h1. No. I think I need the nested loop. So we need like outer tag, OG tag, and then like inner tag, other tag. And so we can say format at the other tag, at the OG tag, at the other tag equals format at the other tag. And if the OG tag is equal to itself, we do nothing. No, this is the winner. Passing test. Tag property should have other tag properties. Nice. So, in doing this, now, format.div .h1 is actually a thing. Cool. Hello, Historica, and hello, Chicken, and thank you, Colton, for that follow. And thank you, Historica, for that follow as well. Colton says, Kata stream. Just found and watched a ton of videos on YouTube the other day. Well, welcome. Glad you're here. I had a dream last night that I set up a food and gardening convention, and you were one of the speakers. I coded a holographic version of your head to sit at the panel for me. Wow. It sounds like I would do something like that. Okay, so, that's great. Let's see where this failed. Yeah, look at this. We're on our way. We are on our way because when we invoked that nested function, so it sort of worked, right? When we did div.h1 invoked, it only gave us back the inner part. So what we need to check for is like basically every time there's a nested property call, we need some sort of, is it a queue? Some sort of stack of functions that need, this then needs to be passed into up the chain. Yeah, something like that. So this is where a proxy would come into play, because a proxy would allow you to detect whenever a property is accessed, and then we could like push into a stack or something like that. But, wait, I'm curious. How deep can we go? Tag properties should have other tag properties. Should have other tag properties. I spelled properties wrong. Many levels deep. Actually, what we could do is whenever this function is, not this function, whenever this function is invoked, we could potentially look to see what has been accessed, how many times it's been accessed. And actually, I don't think, no, we don't need a proxy. We could use object.defineProperty right here. Object.defineProperty is supported in ES5. It's not a proxy that comes from ES6, but that allows you to listen for property sets. So maybe that's what we need. But regardless, what I want to test really quick is how deep can we go? So tag should have other properties many levels deep. So can I do format.div.div.div.div.div to have property div? And it works. That's so cool. Tag properties should have other tag properties many levels deep. Wow. Look at JavaScript go. Okay, I think we're going to use object-defined property because we can basically detect every time div.div.div. Let's test this one. Thank you, Andrew. But if we use object-defined property, every time a property is accessed, we can keep track of that, and then in the final invocation, we will pass it up the chain. Wow. But yeah, here we go. Div. And it passed. It works. That's so good. Okay, now I'm going to show you object.define property. So object.define property is actually how Vue.js works. MDN. Object, well, let's just look for define property. So Vue.js is a front-end framework, and it knows when to update the view. And the reason is because under the hood it's using this thing. Oh, thank you, Historica. So what this allows you to do, this object.define property, is you can pass in an object, add a property to it, but when you add that property, you basically can add like a setter and a getter, which allows you to tap into whenever it's being accessed or modified. So yeah, there's the get and the set function. Oh, didn't mean to do that, but yeah, get and set. So we see an example of a get and a set. We don't see it here. So like get returns the value, but this is a custom function where you can do custom things. But this is actually how Vue.js works. So in Vue.js, anything that you put on your data object, it basically iterates over the properties, does an object.define property thing on it, so that it can detect when it's retrieved, and then it adds a dependency, and it can also detect when it's set, so it can alert all of its dependencies. But yeah. All right, see you later, Chief. Thanks for hanging out while you did, and thank you, Hello Chicken, for that posture check. So this is what we want to do. We want to say object.define property. Oh, define properties. We'll do it one at a time. One at a time. The thing that we want to define it on is this. And the property we want to define is this. And then we want to have a getter that returns this. And we won't set up a setter, but just by doing this, all I've done is it's basically the same code, but now I can write custom code in here whenever someone retrieves a property. And all of my tests should still pass, except the ones that are passing. Yeah, so this deeply nested div one still passes, but now I can do some special things. Oh, hey, Dr. Abbas. Yeah, we're live. We're here. This is not a video. No, we are live. Okay. This is exciting. I feel like something's happening. Like we're making it happen. So I'm curious, how do we detect an invocation? Oh. How about this? So like we could return, well, no, this is the function itself. But also let's just log like retrieving item, because we should see that in the console. Alka, the tier 1 sub. Thank you so much, Alka, for the resub. What's this do? Welcome to the show. We mentioned it earlier that this is officially my 1-month anniversary of being an affiliate on Twitch. Yeah. What's this big red button do? But this hasn't happened before, so I realized that I need to get potentially the message property to show in my overlay, or to show in my chat window. I need to do the same thing with bits. Extavila as well. Welcome, Extavila. Thank you very much. Okay, so yeah, we can see every time. Look, this is that deeply nested div. Retrieving item, retrieving item. Okay. And actually, just thinking through. So the thing is, the way that this is being used is it's being used globally. Like, it shouldn't actually like mutate any internal state. There needs to be some way of keeping track of all the nested property gets that are from the same getter, and then to use to use that knowledge to whenever finally whenever we invoke the function, we do that. Okay. And thank you, Xbash, for that follow. I'm just trying to think, can we do something interesting here where we... What's up, Greg? Welcome, welcome. Something tag equals something. Something. Well, that was very unhelpful. It probably was more helpful than I thought it was. But we could also do something with this nested function. Like, maybe we pass some arguments into it with, like, the next. Well, then, you really can't, because it can take multiple arguments, and it's supposed to join those all together. Yeah, one thing we do need, though, is we kind of need to say format.tag.toString equals itself, because it's the function itself using this. Yes, but I'm curious if that's going to affect invocations at a later time. But toString is set to the function itself, which, if we call it, will just return the function. And then we can also do like value of, because value of is what gets called when we're trying to compare it with things, and that's gonna return the string itself. Okay, let's just make sure we haven't broken anything. Yeah, still only one failing test. Should chain calls together. All right. I'm kind of curious. JavaScript. Object. Define property. Detect if get is a function invocation. Go to Google. Without evaluating accessor, detect if object define property has chained data. Object.define property for a function. Oh. Maybe. Dolorosa says, so I was out at a zoo in Australia last year and got to see a koala. Very good. Thanks for that anecdote. Okay. Here's the thing. When we access the property with the other tag, that's when we need to know that something happened. However, when it's being invoked, we know that it's being invoked right here. So what we need to do is, I think we actually do need to access this. So we can say something like this dot, let's call it chain. And then anytime we get, we'll say format at ogtag dot chain dot push other tag. So we're pushing it into the chain. And then finally, whenever we invoke it, we're going to log that chain, which should have all of the functions that it needs to be passed into. Though we need to set the initial value of chain. So we need to say format.tag.chain equals an array. And so if we've done this right, when the function gets invoked, we should just see a big array of divs. Well, not even divs. In this simplest case, we should see an array of one div. All of them failed. Format.div is not a function. Cannot read property push of undefined. Let's get that working though. I think this is where we want to be. Oh, dot chain. Dot chain equals an array. Who caught that? Did anybody catch that? Would you look at that? Wow. Yeah, but actually what we need to do though is because I mean technically because I never invoked it here, this actually adds on to the chain. But the thing is, whenever I access a top level property, we need to reset the chain. I saw it, but assumed you would fix it. Oh, thank you, Greg. Because like basically whenever this function is invoked, we kind of need to reset the chain. So we could say like result equals that. This dot chain equals nothing, and then we return the result. Thank you very much, Silver Surfer, for those 300 bits. I appreciate you. Cool. So we reset the chain. Chair? Since I've had a chair for a long time. I cycle between like days of standing and days of sitting. Yeah. And so the issue is because this test is running before it. So actually we have two tests. We have format.div, and then it just makes sure that it has an h1, and then we do format.div.div.div.div.div. Well, we don't invoke anything, and then we do format.div.h1. And so at this point, we already have built up that chain because we haven't invoked anything yet. Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna move this test here because we should actually see just an array of one div first. Oh, interesting. An array of two h1s. Too early. I mean, I was streaming at that early my time this morning. Was I? Yeah, roughly around that time. And good evening, Silver Surfer. Thank you for those bits. Okay. The array is undefined. The array has two h1s inside of it. And then it's an empty array. Live share. You have code that you want to write? I do want to figure it out though. Yeah. This is why I said if the thing passed in is not a function, you should return text, not a function. That way the final portion is the invocation. If the thing passed in is not a function, what thing passed in? Something at tag equals something at other tag. That could help. But yeah, the shebas, that the message with those links, that's what that's all about. Basically, you can set your country. If you do !flag or !country followed by the country name or country code, it will set your country next to your name. It's cool to see where everyone's from. Now, here's the thing about not using classes. Until we invoke it, it's basically broke. We kind of need the first call to return its own thing instead of returning format itself. Yeah. Mind explosion. And I think that's what Andrew is talking about here, because basically format.div needs to return its own instance of the thing rather than modifying the original instance. So, can we get that working? Okay, so we have our original format. We're setting it equal to, we're setting up all the base functions. Yeah, and then element formatter is returning a new function. Oh, wait, no. Yes. This does return a new function. So it's not being reused. Hello, roaming. I'm doing pretty good. We're just trying to figure this out. This is a pretty hard kata. It's very functional. Wait. This creates a brand new function. Right. And then we set the chain on that function. But I think anytime we access this base function, we need to set its particular chain to an empty array. Yeah, we're trying to do it more functional style rather than object-oriented. And hello, Kuzi. Welcome. And thank you, Hello Chicken, for that stretch. I can give it a try, Cheyenne. Yep. We don't really have any others in the queue, so depending on the difficulty, we'll do it. The Guardian's looking thin after 55 minutes. Yeah, there are not a lot of people playing the drop game today, which is interesting. Adding big numbers. This could be hard, but also very fun, because we basically would have we could implement an adder, basically. Unhot with the Twitch Prime sub. Thank you so much. 2 months. Yay! We're doing it. It's happening, everyone. Thank you, Nicolo, for that posture check. And Mo3, thank you for that hydrate as well. Did I already hydrate? We'll hydrate again. Okay. Let me think through this. What's happening here? Oh, okay. Actually, I know exactly what to do. Whenever we access it, we need to return a new one. We don't want to just set it directly on there. So on format, this is a 5Q. We're going to define a property called tag that whenever you retrieve it, it is going to return this. And this now makes it so that every initial invocation of format is its own brand new thing. Yeah, the trick about this one, Cheyenne, is that it's potentially going to pass you in really big numbers, so you can't just add them together because of floats can only get so big. So basically, the way I've implemented something like this before is if you think about how would you solve that problem. Yeah, you potentially could use big int. I don't know if the numbers get bigger than that, but if you think about how would you solve this addition on a piece of paper, right? Like add two numbers together, carry the one, add those, carry the one, and we basically implement a function that does that. So each of these numbers you treat like an array of digits, add each one together, carry the one for the next addition. You now get a big long array of all the resulting values and combine that all together. Yeah. My 2-year-old son pointed at it and said, "Grow this?" Yes, if you land there, you will grow this. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, and I'll link this kata really quick. This is the one that we're trying to solve right now, and I think I'm on the right track. I think if I haven't broken anything, now, whenever we access the top level property, this is the top level property, it is going to, we need to return formatter. Whenever we access the top level property, it returns a new formatter. Now, did this break any of our existing tests? Let's see. 3 failed. Tag properties should have other tag properties. broke that one. Div.h1 is no longer a function. All right, well, we've broken it. Oh. I see you're using Grease. I think it's Tamper Monkey, right? No, this breaks it because later on, when we access it, it doesn't have all the other properties. Oh, Grease Monkey script. Yes, to get the to get the URLs to update. This is the kata that we are working on. Okay, so I've broken it. Let's go back to what we had. I'm just trying to think. I guess you can detect if it's been called yet, but I don't really even know if I need to do this. Okay, if we go back here, we have 5 passing tests. Okay, but let's write some tests though, because if I do this format.div to have property h1, what if I create a reset function that anytime it's invoked, we just redefine everything from the ground up? What are you linking me to? Oh, like a particular way of code that you're writing. I'll take a look. And thank you, Cheyenne, for that posture check. What am I looking at, Andrew? 5Q. I don't know what I'm looking at. Okay. I kind of want to add a reset so we can reset it after each test. Look at the bottom. This thing? And thank you, Johnny Coder, for that follow. I'm going to be really excited when I finish this one. All right, I'm going to put this in a function called reset. And it's going to do all of this again. So basically, like, it sets it back to what it originally was. And before we call it, we'll I kind of just need to say format.reset equals reset. Cool. So now, I should be able to, after this, I'll say format.reset. So it gets rid of the nested property calls. And then that's an invocation, so that's fine. This one would need to do a reset. Okay, what have we done wrong? Everything fails. Format.div is not a function. Received has value undefined. Did I invoke it? Oh no, I didn't invoke it. Need to call it at least once before exporting it. This is probably not the best way to do this. But we're on our way. Okay, so now that's failing. And this is what I would expect. This is what I wanted to see, I think. Where whenever the function was being invoked, the chain now has the other tags inside of it. Format.tag. We're going to push. Wait. Okay. So this is the original formatter. Let's put it in a variable. So this for instance is like format.div. Okay, and thank you, Kleber Code, for that follow. So format.div is the formatter. The other tag is going to be every other tag. Div h1p span. Now, when we retrieve div h1p or span from the original formatter, we want to push, I guess not the other tag. Do we want to push the tag itself? I think we do. Because, yeah, now that gives us back div. And if we... right here, if we do format.div.h1, we should expect format.div.chain, if we can access that, to be an array with div and h1 inside of it. Does that pass? That does not pass. Is chain just undefined? Oh, no. The chain, sorry, the chain is just div, because we've only accessed div at this point. If it should pass deep equality, 2b should be to strict equal. That's exactly what I want. To strict equal. And that passes. Cool. And so, in this case, can we... How many... That's too many divs. But if we... Okay, I'm going to do one more test. I'm going to say tag.property should have... let's put this test up here. We basically want to test for the chain. So tag property should have chain of all previous calls. So if I do format .div .span .p .h1 .div .chain should have should strict equal an array that has div span p h1 and div inside of it. So that should pass. It did not pass. Div span p h1 div. Let's see what we actually get. And thank you, True Rocha, for that follow as well. Format.div.span. It only has div inside of it? I'm gonna get rid of this console log we have up here. All right, let's not be so ambitious. Let's just try it with 2. So format.div.span. Let's get rid of this. This is VS Code, but I have an extension called well, I have the Jest extension that actually runs Jest tests inside of it. But yeah, it is just VS Code. Yeah, like you see like these check marks. There's a, let's find the extension that I have. Jest. It's just the actual, wait, is that the one? Yeah, that's the one I have. It's not I guess it's not the official one. It does have the most downloads, so the extension with 383,000 downloads. This is the one I'm using, and it automatically runs your tests inside of the editor, which is pretty sweet. Okay. Somehow, the chain only has div inside of it. div.span.h1. So it's not actually going multiple levels deep. chain. Well, expected this, received an empty array. Oh. Oh? I guess because the chain is actually on this one. So we're just gonna do that. And then we're gonna say the divs chain should have div span h1. Holland is awake early. It only has div inside of it. All right, we are gonna debug. Let's go. So when we say format .div, this particular tag is span. So we're saying format.div.span. When we say .span, object.define property runs, and the original tag is div. So we're pushing that into the chain, which already has 3 divs inside of it. What? What? Okay, regardless, we push that in, and then we return format at the other tag, and the other tag is the span. And then the other tag we're now trying to access is the h1, so the chain is now empty. Oh, because this is now the chain of the next one. Okay, so I'm thinking about this in the wrong way, I think. I think each nested one has the chain of the previous one, right? So at least if I do format.h1.span, we should have a chain that has just h1 inside of it. Oh, no. If we look at... This is what we need to do. Really, at this point, when we're invoking the function, we need to look at the chain. And we might need to set like a parent property or something like that so we can get its chain. But we can say this.chain.reduce some other, we'll call it parent tag. And this is just returning a template function. Starts off with an empty string that is the parent tag. Like this. That wraps the inner item. I guess I don't really want to use a reduce. Or do I? Because what I kind of need to end up with is this, which is like the innermost, surrounded by the parent, surrounded by the parent, surrounded by the parent. Go back to regex. Okay, so we get the result. Then we can say this.chain that for each parent tag. We then can override the result. So we could say result equals itself surrounded by the parent tag. because that's going to override it each time to do the nesting. We then reset the chain and return the result. Now, is this going to work for the simplest case? This dot chain cannot read property cannot read property for each of undefined. So apparently this dot chain is undefined. I guess we kind of need to tell it what the parent is here. Like, formatter at that other tag dot parent equals no. So still, this dot chain is undefined. Oh, it's possible that there is no chain. But why is chain undefined? It should at least be an empty array, right? Okay. But should chain call together is actually passing. So that's weird. But we'll say if there is no chain, return the result. We are done. That makes all the tests pass. Now, what do I think of this? I think we have to have done something wrong. Like, there's no way that this is right. Yeah, thank you, Andrew. But let's try it with some other tests. I guess, yeah, we are. Let's just like try this one. Okay, we can do this. It should be assignable to a variable. Hey, no worries, Andrew. I got it working. Am I proud of the solution? Not really, because I kind of just like poked at it till it worked instead of actually writing some tests to make it work. But we'll see. So, oh, we need to be able to call it again and again? I don't know if this is going to work. Should be assignable to a variable and recallable. Wow. Okay. So, well, first let's fix that. But if I say we need to expect that this is this, cool. And then we do a similar expectation that we can call it again and it still wraps it. This is going to break. This is going to break instantly because I'm deleting the entire previous chain, I believe. And I guess I don't want to wipe the chain out. Hacker ranked is hard. I can believe it. Okay. Watch my tests fail miserably. Yeah. So, the first one, format.div.h1. And then we invoke it, is only giving us back far? What? How is this any different than the previous one? Format.div.h1. And I believe up here we did format.div.h1 invoked. We're literally just storing it in a variable and it breaks everything. Oh, is it because I'm not resetting? If I have to reset every time, then this is horrible. This is not how you should solve it. Okay. That is fine. Somehow, the h1 property is now a function which is only giving us back h1. However, if we do this, it works. Now, why is that? Okay. First of all, I'm really hating this reset function. To be? Oh. Yes, this part's wrong. But the other part is still failing. Yeah, this part fails. Because we are just getting back an h1. So this returns a function okay. I kind of want to rethink how I do all of this. Let's look back at some other examples. Yeah, the thing is, this one should probably work very easily, the way we've written this. Let's go ahead and write that test, just to make ourselves feel better about ourselves. It should allow nested calls. So I want to expect this whole business to be this. Why is this complaining? Just call it directly without assignment if it works. Store the chain recursively on each object and call it. Call the parent function, which in turn wraps it. Yeah, because I think what's happening here is for some reason the chain is empty instead of having previous calls. But I think we have one failing test, which is that last one. The nestable call works, so it's cool that we can at least do this, right? If we do this, we actually get this back. And the reason that works is because we set up the value of in toString. So in here, the value of this invocation actually is a string. I don't know. This one last test makes it so that everything else is completely and totally failing. Like you can see that my test runner just stops running altogether. Yeah, whenever this is going. Okay. I really want to get rid of this reset call because I shouldn't have to do that. Like this. kind of want all of this to be into a function that's like create formatter. All of this goes in there, and then we can recursively use that. So create formatter is actually going to return this format thing. And then we'll say format equals create formatter. Easy. But the outside world won't know about this function, but where I want to reuse it is whenever we're setting nested properties. So right here, formatter equals format at OG tag. Formatter.chain equals push. And the thing is, we technically could like store the chain somewhere in here, I think. But when we get a specific property, we actually want to return a new formatter, I think. So create the function. And then this function needs all of the properties of format. So we kind of need to extend it. And by calling create formatter, that kind of creates its own instance, I guess. Because we don't really want to store the chain, I don't think, on the function itself. Because we need a new array, a new chain of functions every time we say formatter.div, right? Like call on the stack. So we need to invoke that function. And hello, eternal dev coder. Welcome, welcome. Almost sounds like I need a struct. We're not in Vue. We're actually just in JavaScript, plain old JavaScript. Because that's what this is. Yeah, I think if I would have done this object-oriented style, I probably could have solved it. The main reason being, like... Well, actually, it would have been hard because the way the tests run is it expects format to just be, like, a global object. And these, I guess, are, like, static properties on the object. So it's difficult. But what I'm thinking is... instead of returning format at the other tag, we say nested formatter is create formatter, and we return nested formatter at that other tag. I don't think we want to do that. Something like that? I don't know. This is going to break all my tests. 6 failed, 2 passed. Oh yeah, reset isn't a thing anymore. Let's get rid of all that. All right. Oh. Well, that made it so that it's assignable to a variable and recallable. Why did this work? I hate it. I hate the fact that I'm writing code that I don't exactly know how it works. But great. So now now you can assign it to a variable. All that's great. But chain calls are now broken. So let's get that working. missing things. Format with formatters internally. Hello, Coolemer. I'm doing pretty good. And hello, Lucas. Thank you for that follow. What do you mean by this, Greg? Because that's going to create the nested call. Oh, hello, chicken. Done with my task for today. Time to focus on CJ's attempt on this kata. I think we're close. I think by creating this create formatter function, we're no longer like modifying global state basically, because the tricky part is that this one format object needs to be able to do all these things and be called multiple times. That's great. Let's look at what other tests did I write though? Yeah, should chain, wait. Tag property should have other tag properties. So that's great. So we can always do div. We can pass in multiple arguments. We can assign it to, oh, never mind. Is this working? No. This is broken because this is broken. The fact that we can't chain call. Okay. Here's the thing. Do I actually want to store the chain on the tag itself? Because that's technically like on the original formatter. I don't think I want to do that. I think whenever you get a nested property, that's when we can pass in the parent, actually. Yeah. I think this is what Greg was talking about, potentially. Because right now we have a nested formatter, and we can say the nested formatter.parent equals formatter. So that sets the parent. And then when we invoke it, here we'll say if this.parent is a thing, then we can invoke it with the parent. Hello, hi, my name is Jaibi. Yes, YouTube will see this in about 24 hours. Okay. So if this.parent is a thing, then we're going to return this.parent invoked with the result. Yeah, this is it. This is the winner. No. This.parent is not a function. Oh, we don't want it to be formatter. We want it to be formatter at the OG tag. Oh, no, it is. Format at the OG tag. Hi, YouTube. We're on the right track, though. I think we're on the right track. Because we're going to create a nested formatter. We're going to set its parent. Oh. We just set it to... Oh, that's right. Why is this saying that this.parent is not a function? Should chain call together. Should allow you to store and reuse methods. Should be assignable. Okay. Let's just see what the type is. I don't have these set up to be 2-month subscribers yet. We need to get that going. Right now, they're all just the same ones. All right, I want to debug this test. I want to see what happens whenever we get here to this.parent. Let's go. This.parent is undefined. Okay, that's fine. I guess it's not technically this. It's not this. It's the format function that we're putting it on. We want to do this. that. That is what we want to do. This is going to just work, and then I'll be done with this problem. No. This dot parent is not a function. Okay, so that one's just failing. It's not even, it says there is no parent. It shouldn't reach there. Yeah, this is officially, whoa, my power just just dipped. So I just managed to do it without proxies or dynamic defined property calls. I could see it happening. Yeah, I mean, you technically could set a property on formatter that is a function itself with the name of div. I'm completely lost. All right, Alka. We'll get there. Somehow there's still quite a few people watching. I appreciate you all for being here. I'm ready to take a break though. I want to finish this. Okay. So, create a nested formatter. Let's grab that other tag and set its parent to be this. Does anyone know what's happening? I don't know. Want to see my solution of using constructors? Not yet. And welcome, Murdoch Turner. Thank you so much for the resub. I appreciate you. Thanks so much. I don't want to see it just yet, but I will take a look after I've completed it. I'm curious though. Like this works. This works. So we can go deep. I should probably just write a test regarding parents. So it should keep track of the parent call. So I should say format.div, wait, parent equals format.div, and expect format.div, well no, expect parent.h1 to be, no, this. Why is this complaining? Huh. So parent.h1.parent. So format.div.h1, the parent of that h1 is the div. Okay. Can we go deeper than that? So format.div.div.div.div.div. And thank you, Rocker Chick, for that follow. No worries, Andrew. Can't sub till tomorrow. Format.div.div.div.div.div. Parent.div.parent should be parent. Why do we have like an infinite loop? Why aren't these tests running? Because should keep track of the parent call. Okay, so it is keeping track of the parent. That's good. But is the parent a function? This font is called Anonymous Pro. Coding Train looks so simple after this. It's different kind of programming. Did anyone else watch Late Night with Coding Train last night? It was super fun. Actually, is he going live soon? Yeah, I think he's going live in like 2 minutes. Might have to stop streaming so I can go watch him. Okay, but yeah, he's going live in 2 minutes. So expect format. No, not there. We want. Wait, did I just get rid of that other one? No, I like this one. Let's keep that one. Parent is the previous call. Parent is the previous call to format. Coding Train is going live on YouTube. That is. expect parent.h1.parent to be a function. Is that built into jest? To be a function is not a function. How do I test if something is a function in jest? No, that's not what I want. If you do exclamation mark project, you can get a link to all the things I'm working on. What's up, Code Show? Welcome to the show. I definitely can do type of. But I want to see if there's a built-in function for doing it. Coding Train is live. All right. You should all just leave here and go watch that. It's going to be a whole lot more entertaining. I swear to you. All right. To have, to be. Yeah, we'll just use type of. See you later, Andrew. Well. All right. Let's just debug this one. What is happening here? Because when we do h1, that's going to invoke this. This.parent should be defined. And it should call it with itself. Oh, you're staying. See you later, Daniel Garden. Not tonight, but if I were to redeem code review, could you help me finish setting up login with Twitch? Yeah, that actually would be a fun pair stream. Let's chat. Just DM me. I'm down for that. And hello, N Twizzle. Welcome. Kidding, I'm staying. You can minimize the delay on YouTube by increasing the playback rate to something higher than 1. Ah. All right, let's debug this. So, we're about to dive into format. The other tag we're trying to get is the h1. The original tag is a div. That's great. So we're going to create a formatter. I'm going to skip over that. Now we're going to say this nested formatter at the tag that we are trying to get, which is an h1. Its parent is this formatter, which is a div. Okay. Now, I think we're going to try to invoke h1. So Raleigh, thank you very much for the resub. I appreciate you. 2 months. Welcome, welcome. It's pretty cool to see all the 2-month badges too. And Laser with the Twitch Prime sub. Thank you very much, Laser, for that Twitch Prime sub. But yeah, you can see anybody that's been here. This is their 2nd month. You now get a nice little flower. I would say Coding Train is one of the original live streaming coders. Like before people, I think even before people started doing it on Twitch, he was doing it on YouTube. And he mainly was just streaming himself teaching so that he could record videos for his students. But he's great. He does a lot of machine learning, a lot of like teaching people to code, all that good stuff. I was not a YouTube, no. Coding Train came first, and then I came after, and I did a similar thing, but he focuses on really fun things. He focuses on like machine learning and artificial intelligence and visualizations, and I focus on full stack apps. So we do very different things. Okay, so the current tag is an h1. We're going to get its text, and then parent is undefined. But let's look at this. Second doji. Oh, and then he was doing it on Twitch before too. See? Coding Train is the original. The original. We have 3 scopes. Closure with tag div. Oh. That's probably the link to his live stream right there. Feel free to go watch. Okay. This dot parent is undefined, and we're setting it right here. Yeah, I think when I originally looked at Twitch, I don't know if there was a science and tech category. But yeah, Code Show, it's on GitHub, but we renamed it. It's no longer called Greenhouse. I'm calling it Sprout Kit. I was working on it this morning. Coding Drain looks like an S. So that's the thing. It was actually very surreal last night watching him, because he was like wearing a tie, and he's a funny guy, and he's sitting there, and it's like you're watching a late night show, late night talk show, but he's writing code. It's really cool. Yeah, Code Show, but this is it. He's wearing a tie. Actually, I'm curious. What tie is he wearing? Is it the same tie as yesterday? I think that's the same tie. Oh, there it is. I was like, why didn't I get a notification?
Countdown clock goes. Because, as you know, once it gets to 0 o'clock, I turn into a creepy-looking AI artificial intelligence pumpkin.
Yeah, so last night he coded a thing where he had a countdown, and when it reached the countdown, I think he used, was it StyleGAN? He used some AI thing to generate pictures of pumpkins, and then they just start filling up his screen. Yeah, but that seems like a good time. He doesn't do Twitch, he just does YouTube. And thank you, ForSpy, for that follow. Okay, we're setting parent. Why is it not getting called? Or like, does it not exist when we get here? I guess because it's not this. So we're creating the formatter. We're going to basically be at this level whenever we define the parent. Can we do something like pass in the parent here? Like that. And that way, we'll pass in the parent there. And then return it. Because that passes in the parent, sets it on all of them, and then returns it there. It's still broken. Is a create formatter returning a new object? So create formatter is, yeah, so basically we have this base format object which has all of the tags, and then we're attaching each of those functions, like the div function and the h1 and the p and the span function. We're attaching that to this object. I guess technically, do we want formatter to be there as well, or parent to be there as well? I think that's why. I think you're right. No, that's not right. Do Twitch subscribers become tractors after 9 months? Yeah, well, you get the tractor badge. I might consider doing something like that. Yeah, because, I mean, if you've been supporting for so long, that's a lot of money, a lot of support. Thank you, Coolmore, for that posture check, and thank you, Eternal Dev Coder, for the hydrate. No worries, Amal. Welcome. Kittle. Okay. Why is parent undefined? I didn't get to tune into the launch, but I did see that it because it got postponed because of weather. By Sunday, how would could we do it on Sunday? We can chat though. We can chat, but Sunday would probably work the best for me. I saw clouds. I left. Okay, so when we get the other tag from this formatter, we're actually returning a new formatter at that specific tag. And that new formatter should have a parent property And that tag should also have a parent property. Let's do this. I'm just curious how this dot parent could even be undefined. It's OOP. I see the word object. And hello, the gaming skulls. Welcome, welcome. All right, one more debug, and then I probably just need to take a break because I've been staring at this for too long. Watching two streams at the same time is hard. Well, Alka's a pro at that. Okay. Since I have quite a bit involvement with people around the space content, shameless plug of Everyday Astronaut. He's an amazing science communicator. Cool. Does he stream on Twitch? I haven't heard of him, but sounds cool. Force by started learning JavaScript last week, and they're enjoying it. Well, that's great. Thanks for being here. I will say this is a complex problem, especially for a beginner. But welcome. And hello, Terminal Bash. Thank you for that hydrate. Take a break, you say? Focus mode. Oh, he's on YouTube. Everyday Astronaut. Cool. This is a 5Q. I think I'm making it harder than it should be. Yeah. If we look at the scope, yeah, that's tag div. Unofficial raid? Oh, wow. That's a lot of people watching. Did you know that if you return something in a constructor, that becomes the result of a new format expression? Whatever you return from the constructor is the instance. Like, you technically could return something different than this, basically. How did I jump into the debugger? So I'm using this plugin for Jest. Well, I'm in the middle of debug mode right now, but this plugin for Jest allows you to click debug on any one of the tests, and then it jumps into debugger mode, which is, I think it's based off the Chrome debugger. Can I link the current kata? I have the technology. I'm definitely making it harder than it should be. Okay, so we're going to create a formatter. The parent, we can actually see that closure scope. So that parent has the tag div. Tag div. Yeah, cool. So the formatter's parent is now set. Formatter.parent. Wait. Okay, I was about to say, what? So formatter.parent is set. And then now we're going to go in here and the first tag is a div. So we're going to say formatter at that div equals an element formatter. That's great. And then the parent is going to be the div that we just passed in. Great. The next one should be an h1. So this is the one that we care about because we want the h1's parent to be the div. I am 2 hours behind Eastern time. So it's currently 9 p.m. for me. So now formatter at h1 is an element formatter. Great. And then that function that got returned, its parent is going to be the div. Like this is where it all happens. This is where we're setting the parent property and why I'm very confused as to why parent is undefined when it does get invoked. Because this is where it sets the parent property on that h1. Okay. Yeah, he showed that last night. It's gosh darn hilarious. He's wearing like plaid pajama pants and he's got like a shirt and a tie on. Nice like parted hair. Yeah. JavaScript programming is kind of weird. I don't know. Okay, where should we go from here? We go to a failed test. I'm going to remove this breakpoint. What I care about is this. This. Parent scope is the div. Oh, is this the parent? What? No, because the tag is the h1. This itself is a function. Right? What? What? Okay. Check this out. This is, I think this is not the function itself, because the closure scope of this was the div. All right, am I going to create an infinite loop here? Let's see what happens. No infinite loop, okay. But look, it made it work. Why? Okay. Why is this inside of that function equal to the parent? That's what's happening here. The actual element function, the this keyword, I don't want it to be that. I really don't want it to be that. This keyword is the parent. I don't want that. I want this to be this actual function. So element formatter. Oh, because it's being invoked in the context of the parent, I think. So we can say like element formatter at tag dot bind itself. And that way, since we're binding it to be itself, it should have a parent property. What have I broken? No, that broke it. Does parent get clobbered? It's not duplicated, right? I don't think it would, because we're setting it here. We're never overriding any of those properties. So I don't know. I always wondered how VS Code does the autocomplete and syntax highlighting. Well, there is a language server that's running in the background. So someone has literally written a program that can parse JavaScript code and determine, based on the environment, like what are some valid properties, what are valid functions that can be invoked, different things like that. And then the syntax highlighting is done through parsing as well. So there's this thing called the abstract syntax tree, which is where you take a program and break it down into all of its parts, like its tokens and lines. And then you can take that tree and analyze what each thing is, like whether it's a keyword or it's a name or it's an argument, and then decide what color to make it. But that's a thing. Yeah. I don't have like a perfect explanation for it, but it's a thing. I might have to do new object equals format.bind ref object and ref object.self. Then I can access this.self in the constructor. Oh. I mean, so it equals itself now. And then I could do this.self dot parent. Not slef. Self. So set self equal to itself. Not that. I don't think I want it to be format though, do I? Do I need the bind? Yes. Okay, set it equal to itself, and then set it equal to itself bound to itself. Wait, what? Okay. For whatever reason, this dot parent is still undefined. Thank you, Jance, for the 100 bits. I appreciate you. This is turning out to be. I am. The shipment wants my help. What does he need my help with? All right, let's go. Let's go watch him. I can help him remotely. I probably have a bit of delay.
You should be going to learn stuff and watch a sensible live stream with people with actual knowledge. Is that coming through?
Hello.
All right, I'm gonna look at this green screen. So many wonderful things. Okay, but I'm gonna keep going with what I'm doing. Those of you who choose to stay, I make no guarantees, none whatsoever.
He was showing me. That's hilarious. Okay. And thank you, Orfer and Chosen Duck, for those follows. Streamception. Okay. I probably need to take a break. I mean, I've been working on this for 2 hours. I think by not using like a constructor function style thing, I've really backed myself into a corner. And the thing is, we got most of it working. Like, we can access nested properties. We can do interesting things like this. But when it comes, well, actually, I mean, the main thing is broken here. We still actually can't chain. So, I mean, we can chain, but it's not necessarily keeping track of the parent. I'm going to debug this one more time to see what's happening here with self. Oh, why I don't link my Twitch. That's a great point. I'm way overcomplicating it. Oh, with the YouTube chat API? Oh, I got you. I got you. I'll send him this link. I recently created this backend API where you can read chat messages from YouTube. You just need a Google API key and a channel ID. I'll message him on Discord real quick. Yep. Here. And then we'll do it in the live chat. Oh, why are there no chats in the live chat? Cool. Oh yeah, I tuned in while he was showing me. Welcome everyone. Welcome. I'm in the middle of I'm falling flat on my face. We're trying though. It still feels like we need a new create formatter. Oh, like to create an instance of a thing? Oh. Yeah. Actually, that would be all. I think that's all we need. Because then it gets a this value. A constructor name should start with a capital letter. Well, we can make that happen. But yeah, I think that makes sense, Greg, because now, I mean, technically this is a function that returns an object, so it's basically a constructor function. We basically have made a constructor function. And now it actually has this value. And so we should just be able to do this dot parent. Maybe not. This dot parent is not a function. What is this dot parent? Oh, because this dot parent, it's the formatter. It should be a function, right? Let's debug it one more time just to figure out what this dot parent is. Hello, Danachu. Welcome. I work with the YouTube API for the Planetary Society and for them to interact with viewers and bring comments on screen. Oh, very cool. And thank you, Hugo, for the follow, and or Kane Forge for the follow. Is that YouTube API live all the time, or would I need to get a local version? let's talk about it. And actually, um, I'll pull up this. I don't know if Coding Train actually saw my repo, because I could set it up locally and get it going. Oh, we got 4 hearts. Thanks, everyone. He did. Cool. But let's talk about it. So here's the thing. And maybe we can clip this for later. This is actually one of the reasons I no longer stream on YouTube, is because their API is a real pain to deal with. And to get live chat messages, it's actually a polling mechanism. It is not it's not real time. It's not sockets where, like, I mean, the Twitch interface is actually using IRC, which is kind of like real time by default. Like, you're getting server pushes of new messages. So the YouTube live chat API is just a REST API. So it's basically built in that you have to make a request and then wait a little bit and then make a request and then wait a little bit to get the latest live chat messages. So this is an effort to take all of that and make it into something that is real time, like Socket.io. The old IRC? Not sure. So what I've done is, if you take a look in the server code, is and then the other thing is, every single live event on YouTube has a unique ID. So you can't just say, please give me the live messages for this user that is streaming right now. Whereas on Twitch, you can. You just say, I want the live chat messages, and you get them back. But YouTube, you first have to hit their events endpoint to find all of the live events of a given user, and that will give you back a live chat ID. And then once you have that live chat ID, you can use that to get the latest live chat messages. So what I did was I made this Express API, and there's this function in here called listen chat that basically combines those two things. So the first thing it does is it gets all live events. This is a function that I wrote that calls their API. It gets all live events for the given channel ID, and then it finds the one where there are concurrent viewers. So that's the live event that's currently live. Once you have that live event, we then start listening for messages on that particular live chat ID. So listen messages is another function that I wrote that's in another file, but it basically returns an event emitter, and you can listen for when new messages come back. So we listen for that live chat ID, and now basically behind the scenes, it's polling. It's making a request to the live chat API, but every time there are any new messages, we get this array of messages, and then we can do something with it. In my case, I'm emitting it as a socket event so that any client could use it, and then I'm also actually putting it into a Mongo database. Robbed. And so that's how that's working, but the complexities are more so in this function, or in this file, because there is a function that this will get all live events. Well, actually, this will get all live events. This is all upcoming and live events from the YouTube API. This is the listen message function that does the polling. I actually have it in a do while loop. I hardly ever use those. And then I actually have functions in here for sending messages, but these aren't hooked up to any API endpoints. But basically, this is the bulk of the code that calls the YouTube live chat API, waits for messages to come back, and then you can see right here that I am waiting for the polling interval milliseconds, and then I make the request to get the latest live messages again. So there's that. And I mean, I technically could make this a lot simpler and reusable if I didn't, because right now it's storing all of the live chat messages in a Mongo database. But technically, you could just make it emit the latest message events. So yeah, that's a thing. All right, that was me stalling because I'm stuck. I'm stuck. This dot parent is not a function, and that's unfortunate because I want it to be. Let's see why this is failing. Neat. Oh, thank you, Doc. Live chat messages.list. Make sure you add in the fields you only want. Your unit quota will be used very quickly. Yeah, I guess it depends on what channel you're listening for. I used code very similar to that for 2 years while I was streaming on YouTube. And it worked just fine. I never hit any quotas. Was that a Jitter TED drop? Can't believe you're still here, Ted. I'm falling flat on my face. And thank you, Kiana Machubi, for that follow. Okay. Why is it failing? Because there is no parent. It's failing because there is no parent. Let's debug it one more time with a breakpoint. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna walk around a little bit. Maybe the answer will come to me. So I would need to clone it, remove the Mongo stuff, and add the env variables and run it. Sure, yeah, and the not that. Here it is. Really what you need, the core of all of this is basically this function called listen chat. You can basically just take this function, remove the code that inserts into the database, and if you wanted to keep socket.io, you could keep that going too, because that's just emitting the messages. But really, this main function, listen chat, that's the one you need. That does the hard work of getting all the events and then listening for each incoming message. Yeah. Words of wisdom. Sometimes a solution finds you when you stop looking. Yep, I am very accustomed to that. I'm not going to stream tomorrow. I am going to stream Friday morning, though. I still plan to do that. Breaks are my favorite way to get unstuck. There's been so many times where I just took a walk and the answer came to me. But I'm going to debug this one more time. Basically, when we get right here, this dot parent is undefined. But if we look at this, it's still technically this is the parent. For whatever reason. So here's what I'm going to do. Because the thing is, once I do this, it basically works. But we can no longer store them in variables. All right, see you later, Rogue. Thanks for dropping by. I hate it when I take a break. I get an idea that sounds great, but then it doesn't work. Well, I think you need the following switcheroo. Ref object equals properties, new object equals format.bind, ref object equals self, and the new object is the bound function with a reference to the properties under self. This is the ref object. The thing is, whenever we access any one of these div h1p or span, instead of returning an element function, oh no. I think we actually can iterate right here. We can say that formatter is that. And then we'll use this here. I mean, I actually don't know if this is going to fix anything. But it is a better way to write it because all of the nested calls should be proxied or go through this object-defined property anyways. So this is all formatter. Okay, and we put it on the format object. And then we're putting a bunch of other properties on this formatter function. And we're saying that the nested formatter at the other tag right? I don't know. What did this do for us? Hopefully All right, 2 failing tests, 7 passing tests. And the 2 ones that are failing are the nested call. Basically, it doesn't have a parent. Okay, I'll have to fix that. I am going to take a break, though, because I've been streaming for 2 hours. 2 monitors, 2 streams. Nice. What are my thoughts on micro front ends? I just heard someone talking about it at work. I don't know, like I mean, I know that micro front ends are very similar to microservices and that you have a few small front end apps that all do their thing well and they're potentially like put together. It's pretty interesting. I mean, I'm exploring a similar concept with my streaming overlays because I have like this chat window and there are a couple other apps that look very similar, and those are kind of like micro front ends because they're all going to be using the same components. But I don't know. All right. What was Doc's message? Ref object equals property. Okay, so this is the ref object, right? New object equals format.bind the reference object. Or I could do this, like bind that function with itself. The interesting thing to think about is like in this case, well, no, in the nested call, this one right here, when we invoke h1, the this value inside of the function is actually the this of the parent. It's actually the this of the div. And why is that? Like this function is being invoked in the context of that one, I think. But yeah. I do them every Wednesday. I really only do them on stream. But I can't do x equals format.bind. But I can though, right? putting it on the function. All right, if I still have 2 failing tests, I'm going to take a break. Nope. 6 failing tests. All right, let's put it back. Put it back to the way it was. All right. And then 2 failing tests. Cool. I'm going to take a break. But yeah, this is the Code Kata stream. It's usually around this time every Wednesday. This is episode 49. And I pretty much only do them on stream. I don't do them in my spare time. The tests don't like me. You know, I think like we've made it. Well, actually, did we change this back to... yeah, we're actually invoking it on behalf of the parent. But then I think that's breaking for even like more nested calls. Oh. No. Let me call it here. I mean, I'm making this harder than it is. It's definitely doable. Oh, wow. Just look at that. Okay, this is where I want to be. So for some reason, this is in the wrong context. That's great. And actually, the thing that fails is now when we put it in a variable, it no longer knows who the parents are. And that is definitely a binding issue. So if we fix that, I think we're on our way. But yeah, this is weird that I'm actually invoking this because this is technically the parent, which is a function. I don't know. I'm going to take a 15-minute break. When I come back, I'm going to take an 11-minute break. Could I make parent a list instead? Oh, like a list of functions? I think I tried doing that earlier with a thing called the chain. I was basically pushing the name of the tag into the chain. Is that what you mean, Doc? So each object has the entire chain instead of just the parent. Yeah, that's what I tried to do earlier, but we lost it. But wait, I've had a thing. What if we actually, so now that we're in this situation where this is always the parent anyways, what if we actually just put the chain back? So if we said formatter.chain is an array, every invocation is a checkpoint. And then whenever we get it, we need to push it into the chain. I don't know if this is right. I mean, this is probably wrong. But then we take the other tag and push it into the chain. Take a break. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Because we get it and then we push it into the chain. And then actually no. Before I do this, I'm going to take a break. We are going to take a break. But I'm curious, can we go deeper than just 2 levels deep? Because right now this is passing, but can I go like 4 levels deep and it still works? Because if not, then we've got deeper issues. So we should have 3 divs surrounding one h1. I hate waiting for DNS to propagate as well. Make sure your TTL is set to like 1 minute, your time to live. No. So this is returning only 1 div, not 2 divs. So that's broken too. Okay, I'm gonna take a break. There's been multiple breaks redeemed. I'm gonna take an 11-minute break. Yeah. Do I want formatter.chain equals formatter.chain? All right, we'll hold on to this doc because it seems important. But 11-minute break. When I come back, I'll try to finish this. This will probably be the only kata that I do today. Though this one that was sent to us, this one actually looks really fun because we basically have to implement addition from scratch, like addition of big numbers from scratch. But all right, I'll be back in 11 minutes. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for hanging out with me for so long. In the meantime, during this commercial break, feel free to check out the coding train. Here.
I guess I could do some kind of loop here, right?
Check them out. I'll be back in 11 minutes. I appreciate you. Thanks for everyone for all the resubs. Thanks for believing in me. And we'll see you soon. Hello, friends. I'm back, and I'm actually very interested in what the coding train is working on. So let's just watch him for a second, because he's making a dad joke generator based on an AI. Oh, just a second. So my computer went to sleep, and I think everything broke. My backend is not listening for chats anymore somehow. Could not connect to server. Joined. There we go. Cool. Yes. All right. Let's go watch him for a second because he's so close.
Wherever there is, what was it? Was it /r/n?
So
With nothing.
he's calling the I can has dad joke API, and he's writing all of those jokes to a file. And thank you, Cool Emer, for those 100 bits. Much appreciated. And so he's generating a file with a bunch of dad jokes in it, and then he's gonna feed those dad jokes into a neural network, which will then be able to generate dad jokes based on all the text that it received. This is gonna be great. It has to be, right? All right. Is everyone okay with me watching this? I'm just very interested.
Wait a second here.
Copyright.
Hold on a second. I'm tired. Is the first joke, and then it's the third. No. Oh, because it repeats the first set of jokes No. Hold on a second here.
So the
yes, I'm duplicating.
The issue he's having is the AI training thing needs at least 100 kilobytes of data, and he's only got like 50 kilobytes of jokes, so he's like duplicating the jokes. Let's see.
Delete
5 megabytes of jokes.
this data set. We're going to
Files of DMCA takedown.
get it again.
No, we're watching this together.
And we've got our jokes. Next.
It should be really easy with this tool called
the
Runway.
Data separator is definitely a line. And estimated training time. Oh, you can't. Estimated training time, an hour. It's okay, I got 4.5 minutes.
5 minutes! So at midnight, pumpkins will envelop his screen. So he's got 5 minutes to finish.
Here we go. Okay, here we go. Let's see what happens. It's so. I think I might need to turn the air conditioning on or open a window. I'm so hot. All right, your experiment is starting.
Oh, the pumpkin endpoint is
This
down.
can take a few minutes.
Yeah, I saw them last night. They're weird, very weird looking. Definitely looks like something out of a horror
What can
movie.
I do while we're waiting? Let's take a look at my list of projects that I want to work on.
All right, someone let me know whenever whenever the thing is done running, because I'm really curious in all the dad jokes that it can generate. Okay, where were we? We were working on this particular kata, this one here. And we were sort of there. The thing that's going wrong is that we can't really nest calls anymore. All of the other tests work, but when a nested... Wait. No. Didn't I add a new test? Let's run the test again. Yeah. So when I try to do a deeply nested call like div.div.div.h1, that's not working. It's only going one level out. So this comment that we got from Doc was, what if we keep track of the chain as we go down, and then we could potentially use that. And I like that idea. I didn't really have any epiphanies while I was on break. was mainly watching the coding train. But I think what we can do is we can say, like, this formatter dot chain starts off as actually it should have itself inside of it, and then whenever we call a function, we can say this item dot formatter dot chain equals itself with the previous one. So take the previous and then like that. And it's not dot formatter, it's literally just that. So that dot chain equals the previous chain with itself. And then the next time it gets called, it'll be the previous chain with itself. So actually, I don't think we want to push itself in. And then let's see if we can get access to the chain inside of here. And really, right now, I'm just going to set a breakpoint. I'm just going to make sure that when this test runs, chain has an array that's like really big and long. So let's see. Let's play it. Wait, no, remove that breakpoint. Play it. Play it. Okay, so this dot chain is an array of length 0. And this is the issue we were running into earlier. This is basically the parent in the chain. Oh, cool. It's going to take a look at my my live chat repo. Let me know if his thing finishes training. Okay, so here's the issue. This inside of the element function is not the right this. This is the this of the topmost parent, the very first function. And we don't want that. I could put that logic in the create formatter function that you were previously setting up the parent. Yeah. I guess really all we need is the parent tag though, right? So if we pass in not the parent, but if we pass in just the tag, because now that's the parent tag. And then the element formatter could pass in, wait. Okay. Oh, that's good. That's good to hear. This could work. So whenever we create the element function, we could actually hold on to the parents. I like this. Parent starts off as an empty array. And then we'll say, this is kind of what I did earlier. All right, this is the way to go. This is it. We're gonna solve it. This is the winner. So I'll say parents.forEach parent result equals basically this with the result. And this is the parent. And then we return the result. So by default, parent is an empty array. And then let's actually call this parents, which starts off as an empty array. And then when we create the formatter, we pass in the parents. And then we don't need the chain. And then whenever we create the nested one, we'll say the parents is all of the previous parents with this tag inside of it. Let me get rid of that. Well, that didn't work. Oh, I think it did work. Part of it did. Well, mainly the thing is my tests are wrong now, because I had one test that was actually checking for the parent property. We don't need this anymore. Okay. Oh, I need to reverse the parents. You're right. You're right. Because I need to start from the outside in. The closing tags, yeah. So reverse the parents and then do the business. I can't believe it. It works. Raise hands. Can we get some raise hands in the chat? So I feel like there are a lot of people that are just lurking tonight, and that's okay. But here's what we got to do. Oh yeah, hands up. Just type hands up. Hands up in the chat. Capital hands, capital up. This was so much easier to do it this way. Okay. Thank you for being here, Ted. I appreciate you sticking around. All right. The thing is, we're not totally done. We do have to put this into Code Wars and make sure it still works. But I think we're there. I think we are very much there. And I feel like now I probably don't really even need this create formatter thing. Because I don't even need it to be an instance. We're not accessing this anymore. Like I could just do the function and it should still just work. Yeah. Oh well. All right. Let's see what Code Wars thinks about it. Hands up. Thanks everyone. All right. Yeah, we did tests. I feel like I could have done a lot better on the test for sure. A lot of it I was just like poking and prodding and trying it multiple ways. Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness it actually worked. All right, I'm done with this one. Yeah, and basically like doing actual TDD definitely would have helped. I'm not the best tester, I do have to admit. Are you kidding me? Oh, they use a proxy. Okay, I was like, what? It's like, how is this so short? But no, they're using a proxy. That's insane. Yeah. Sort by newest. All right, we'll look at Doc's solution. So this is mine. I just submitted. It's not so bad. Let's look at Docs. Ooh. Okay. So format. This is a constructor function. All right. And then if new.target. So if we're creating an instance, is that what this means? I didn't know you could do this. But yeah, if we're creating an instance, do this. If we're not creating an instance, that means we're invoking the function. Then that's when we need to actually generate the HTML string. That's a really cool way to do it. We're not using, I guess you are using defined properties. Format and props. But that has nothing to do with the function, with like the new.target. Yeah, no dynamic properties. This is basically how do you detect if you're creating an instance of something or if you're invoking it. And I like that. Yeah. This is basically just iterating over the properties and putting them onto the object. So that's really cool. So if we're creating an instance, we have our reference object, which is just a base object. We create an instance of this function bound to itself. And that's basically so that later on we can call this. We do the self thing because later on we're going to access the self. We're setting the prototype of format to be that object. Great. And then we're calling the constructor. So that basically gives us our base format object that we can then dial down into their properties. And hello, Krisu. Welcome, welcome. And then from there, we set up the constructor. The constructor takes in tags and just sets tags. Very interesting. And then we have all the properties, div span, h1, and p. This technically is a getter. I mean, you are technically doing an object-defined property with a get. That's okay, though. So when we get the div, we create a new instance of a format function with all of the previous tags if they exist, otherwise an empty array, and then the element itself. Yeah. And then Doc ended up doing a very similar thing. We're reversing all of the previous parent tags to give us the resulting format string. Now, there are some things in here that are not completely clear to me, but great work, Doc. It's a nice solution. Yeah, a lot of people are using a proxy. I'll show you all what a proxy is. I think I know less about JavaScript than I thought I did this morning. You can do a lot of weird things with JavaScript. That's the coding train. What was I going to show? Oh yeah, like new.target, all this weird stuff, setting the prototype. Proxies are cheating. It makes it, I mean, you saw that if we look at the top most cleverish solutions, I think. Yeah. Using a proxy, this is how simple it is, because a proxy basically allows you to intercept property gets. Yeah, it's perfect for this. But proxies were introduced in ES 2015. And basically, it allows you to watch any target, any object for changes, for property gets, property sets, other events. And the cool thing about it is you can set up a proxy on a target object, and then the outside world can keep using this target project. You don't target object. You don't have to do object-defined properties or anything like that. Your original object remains the same. But now this proxy knows when someone sets or gets a property on this target. Now this is really convenient for front-end frameworks that want to watch for changes on objects and automatically update the UI. So Vue.js 3.0 is actually going to be using proxies under the hood. But the thing about proxies is they are not supported in Internet Explorer. Yeah, like IE 11 doesn't even support proxies. So Vue.js 3, moving on to using proxies, is no longer going to be supported in older web browsers. But Vue.js 2 uses object.define property, which is supported in older browsers or can be polyfilled. And hello, Zero Turner. Welcome, welcome. Is it TDD if I change the test to match my code? I mean, sort of. So proxies are really cool. And I've shown this before, but I did, wait, yes, there are a lot of people that still use Internet Explorer, mainly enterprises, large companies. But if you search for Coding Garden Vanilla MVC on YouTube, there is this video where I was participating in the Front-End Framework Showdown, which was a meetup event that we did here in Denver. Part of the Node.js meetup, where several different speakers, each one built the exact same application with different front-end frameworks. And I decided to do it with Vanilla.js. But what I showed is the code here. We could probably find the code. But what I showed was that using the proxy object, it's very simple to create like a basic property watcher that automatically updates the view whenever things change. Yeah, proxies are cool. But is it cheating? Yeah, it's definitely cheating. Because it just calls a recursive function on itself. Yeah, because the get just returns a function. And then finally, when you invoke it, you're actually invoking this. Wow. Wow. And thank you, Zirka, for that follow. Okay. I wonder how that'll affect Vue's performance, because the thing about proxies is they mean a lot of runtime optimizations around objects and properties and stuff can't be done, and a lot of the code has to fall back to being interpreted. That's a good point. The JavaScript compiler, I put it in quotes because, I mean, it's technically an interpreter, but at the same time, when your code spins up behind the scenes, it's kind of like compiling your JavaScript code and optimizing it. But yeah, that's a good point. And I believe they were switching to proxies. Maybe they changed their minds. I don't really know. Luckily, we destroyed IE across our entire environment. Many people yelled and then realized they didn't actually need it. Well, that's good. But the thing is, I guess the reason larger companies still use Internet Explorer is because they've been using it for so long, and it's kind of built for being provisioned and maintained, I guess. So if you're managing thousands and thousands of employee computers, and also you want to lock them down, IE is able to do that. Yeah. Oh, playing with his lights. That's me. We want to get rid of Internet Explorer, but Oracle PeopleSoft doesn't support certificates that Chromium likes. Deployed on Windows XP. So we need to keep IE around for that. Yeah. Yep. Okay. I did not expect us to spend the entire time on that problem. But it was fun. Should we... Oh, I didn't mean to close Coding Train. Sorry, Coding Train. I didn't mean it. There you are. Suggest a validation library. I really like YUP. YUP. If you're using JavaScript, anyways. Dead simple object schema validation. I use this for everything. It's supported on the front end and on the back end. I use it for form validation. I use it for model validation on the back end. YUP is great. It's based off of the syntax of Joy, which is from the Happy Foundation, but I believe they might have changed it, but it used to be that Joy only worked on the back end, but I think Joy can work inside of browsers now too. Loads of enterprise software only work on IE. Yep. There are a few tricky katas like that where the most difficulty is mostly around making classes that can be invoked as functions. Yeah. Oh yeah, AJV is the one that I use a lot too. Another JSON schema validator. This one, if you look at dependents, look at this. Happy, joy, happy, joy. Okay, so I guess Joy can be used in the browser now with React. Or with any front-end framework, or with vanilla JavaScript in the browser. But AJV has 4,800 projects that are dependent on it. There are a lot of major projects that use AJV under the hood. And the reason I know this is because one day, AJV, they changed something, and then it broke Webpack. And because it broke Webpack, all the projects that were dependent on Webpack also broke. And then AJV fixed everything. And they added, as a part of their own test suite, because they have so many dependents, they added test suites in their own test suite that make sure that other libraries keep working whenever they make changes. So that shouldn't happen again or as often. But AJV is really cool too. It's another JSON validator. Those are probably the three that I use the most. AJV, YUP, or Joy. Okay. Should we try to do adding big numbers? I should probably go. I need to go. Let's see. If we... yeah, Ren and Stimpy. Happy. I think that's what Happy comes from. If you look at like the Happy logo, Happy JS. Happy is super interesting. But yeah, isn't that from Ren and Stimpy? I don't know. A lot of their libraries are, I think, Ren and Stimpy themed. Yeah, you know your library is popular when you need to use other libraries to test your library. Yeah. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to use a big int. I don't know what version of Node is supported in here, but big int was introduced. When was big int introduced? Let's look at it on can I use big int. And I think node.js is on here somewhere. No, this is just browser support. Oh, okay. It's not in Node 8. Okay, and if we look at this, yeah, we have to use Node version 8. It won't let us use Node version 10. So the thing is, so for this particular problem, you're given two numbers that are strings, and you need to add them together and return the result as a string. Yeah, they thought of that. And the reason this won't work is for really, really large numbers like this, you actually lose precision. Because JavaScript can't hold numbers that are that big. Yeah, okay, there. Thank you, Murdoch Turner. That's the reference. This is that little helmet thing from Happy. Happy JS. Yeah, so they have a lot of Ren and Stimpy references. Cool. So if we run this, basically all of the tests will pass except for the really big one. And it was a disturbing cartoon. Now you probably You probably could, if you had access to big int, this would probably work because big int allows you to use very big integers, like the name implies. Big int with that plus a big int with that, and that returns a very, very big int. But it works. Like, you don't lose precision because it can store really big integers like that. Is this equal to this? It is. So you don't lose precision. So if we could use big int, this would be really easy, but we can't. So basically what we have to do is we have to implement addition from scratch. Yeah, we create an adder function. I kind of want to. Maybe if I set a timer for myself. Like, can I do this in 15 minutes? Reducing over string characters is pretty easy. Let's do it. I'm going to set a timer for 15 minutes. It is a for queue. However, the way I'm thinking, I mean, I always think things are going to be easier than they actually are. Redeem my, oh yeah, you, did you get a, oh, you will redeem your focus mode. Okay. What's the coding train doing? Housekeeping commands. Oh, there's working on, this experiment has ended. Oh, okay. Before we do that.
Oh, it finished! It finished!
It finished.
I waited long enough. Awesome. Okay. Let's see now.
I want to see a randomly generated dad joke.
I can. By the way, I'm just curious.
Oh, I think this is one. Why does a moon rock taste better than Earth? Than it does a fantasy? Because it owns scales. Oh, okay, yeah. That's
Did
ridiculous.
the complexity get worse over time or better? Oh yeah, look at this. I had this like.
Why does a moon rock taste better than an Earth?
Why does the moon rock taste better than an Earth rock? Because it's made of oatmeal.
It's so dumb.
I'm definitely going to have to like automate the laugh track as well. All right. So here we go. Let's throw caution to the wind and take. I feel like I should take the model with the lower, the checkpoint with the lower perplexity score. So perplexity is a score. It's similar to the. It's
Cool. Okay, I'm going to set a timer for 15 minutes, and I'm going to attempt to implement an adder. And what I mean by that is basically, if you remember when you learned how to add, you add the ones place and then the tens place, and if with each addition you carry the one, and basically that's what we need to do. Keeping track of each digit along the way, and then we have all the digits. So, can I do this in 15 minutes? Let's see. So, I'm going to create this file locally. Adding big numbers. Yes, Alka says yes. I think I can. Oh, actually, I need to. Let me stop the timer. Why not? We'll keep the timer going. Okay, let's open code right here. Hands up. Yeah, I'll link it. Yeah, this will be a fun one for people to try as well. This one. Okay, so we've got our function add. The thing is, I feel like I implemented something like this a while back. I don't know. It may have been a different one, but this is basically the test that we need to get working, because we know in the simplest case it will work. Actually, I should go ahead and add those other tests too. We're gonna add all these tests, and this is a scenario where I'm not gonna do it test driven. I know you all like to see that, but we're just going to do some console logs. However, There we go, something like that. And then I'm going to start up Quaka.js. Console.test. Is that a thing? Never used it. Well, the reason I'm doing console.log is I'm using this thing called Quaka, which actually runs my code inside of the editor. So, yeah, and we can see where the problem lies. Whenever you pass in two really big numbers and you just try to add them to convert them to from strings to numbers and add them together, you get you lose precision. And so it's basically 9-2 with 28 zeros after it instead of the actual number itself. Okay, but here's what we need to do. We need to say a digits equals all of the digits of a spread into an array, and then b digits equals all the digits of b spread into an array as well. And then now we got to do maths. We got to look at each place, add them together, carry, and carry on. So we have our result, which is going to be an array. We basically need, like, if they're of two different lengths, we want to iterate over the one that is the shorter length, I think. Actually, we could technically pad the shorter one with zeros. That would make our life a lot easier. Let's do that. So we'll say max length is math.max of a.length and b.length. And then we'll say a equals a.pad start with zeros, and we want the length of that. And then b equals b.pad start with 0 and the length of that. So by doing this, now we're just going to pad them with zeros if they don't match. So like if we log a and b, for every scenario, they look good. And then when you get to 4, 5, 6, and 12, oh, console.assert, I see. I use Formic and Yup in React for form management. How do view people manage forms? There are a few different libraries. Viewlidate is one of them. It has built-in validations. I thought this would work. Let's actually just run the one. Well, let's test it on something like we're trying to add 1 and 10. So when this logs a, wait. Am I doing this wrong? Yeah, I'm doing this wrong. We want length and then 0. Yeah, that's what I want. Yeah, so that way it pads it with zeros, and that way when we put it into the arrays, it doesn't really matter. Now we have two arrays of all the digits, the A digits and the B digits. And now we need to look at each one and add them together, carry the one, all that good stuff. So we'll have a for loop that goes from, we're going to go in reverse. We're going to go from the end up to the beginning. So we'll say I is equal to length minus 1, while I is greater than or equal to 0, I minus minus. And then we'll say, let's call this the result digits, and this is the result. So the result is going to be a at I plus b at I. And if we need to turn these into numbers because there are going to be strings. So we'll say that. Now, no, and this is just result. If result is less than 10, so if the result is a single digit number, we just push it into the result digits. So we're going to say result digits dot push result. Oh, and actually we don't want this at A. We want this at A digits and then B digits. So if the result is less than 10, there's no carry. So we push it into the array. And we don't push it. We want to shift it because we basically need to put it at the beginning every time. I think shift is what I want. No, I want unshift. Put it at the beginning of the array. And so we'll keep doing this. Now, when we add 1 and 10, it'll add the 1's digits, which is 1, and then it'll add 0 and 1, which is 1, so we should get back 11. Now, for the simplest case, we can just return result digits dot join on the empty string, and that works. So this actually should take care of everything where there is no carry. 6, 7, 8, 9, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so this should handle both of these. 579, that's great. But this is where we're going to get a carryover. And this is where it goes wrong. 8. Wait, did I actually get it right? What? 8 is less than 10. Wait. Oh, no. I'm returning undefined. It's broken. So 8 and 2 is 10. So we actually should put 0 in the result array and carry the 1. So we need to say, like, let carry equals 0. And if the result is greater than, is 10 or greater, then we'll say result digits dot push the last digit of this. So we'll say result mod 10. So result mod 10 is going to give us the second digit in whatever that number is. We're gonna and we want to unshift it. We don't want to push it. And then we can say carry plus equals the carry value. So the first digit. So I can say result divided by 10, and then I just need to floor that. So we put that in the carry. Actually, I guess we just assign it. And then here we'll say result plus no, we'll add it. Result plus carry. See you later, Zen and Teresa. Have a good night. And then when we use the carry, we'll set carry equal to 0. So we did not do it right. So let's think about this. 8 and 2 is 10, so we should push the 0 result. So 10 mod 10 is going to be 0. We should get a 0 into the array. We then get the 1, so 10 divided by 10 is 1. So our carry is equal to 1. Now our next digit is going to be 10 plus 1. Oh, this is what we need to do. We need to add the carry here. The carry can only be 0 or 1. Oh, you're right. Oh, my dog's barking. But I'm really close to being done. So I just say this. I mean, technically, yeah, the carry, I don't even have to do this. I'll just say the carry is 1. Yeah, and so that handles it. And then the last issue is we're missing the very last digit. If result if result is less than 10, then we carry it. But then at the end, we'll say if carry is there, then we need to say result digits dot push carry. And we've broken. Oh, not push, unshift. Unshift, thank you. I feel like that was really quick, Alka. How low is my delay? There we go. Sweet. So I think we've done it. We've created an adder that can add any numbers, and it basically just stores the digits in an array. Hello, I'm Mikkel. Welcome. And thank you, MS2070, for that follow. You said it, and I started typing. All right, and so moment of truth. Does it work on this really big number? I think it does. 91002328227963. There we go. My delay is low. That's good. So this is my solution. There are definitely better ways to do this. Doc was saying you could do it like in a one-line solution. That's probably possible too. And especially, like, this is somewhat simplified, knowing that the carry can only be 0 or 1. Regardless, where's my timer at? There we go. I did it in 12 minutes. Yes, I've got just the thing for you, White Cheetah. What tool is that? Did I spell it right? Oh no, I think, did I spell it right? I don't know. It's Quokka. There's a thing called Quokka.js. It's really cool. But it runs your code inside of VS Code. That's exciting. I'm glad I figured that out. I can't. Here's the thing. Why is this a 4Q? I feel like we need to work. They need to work on their labeling system. Let's see if this handles it though. Let's talk about Doc. He's an alien. All right, so it should work for these basic tests, and then if we attempt it, it works there too, and it runs in 1 second. So that's great. Why was this so easy? we struggled for 2 hours with that last one. Okay, that's fine. Final submission. Yeah, you're welcome, White Cheetah. Thank you, Lacerated Digits, for the upgraded sub, originally gifted by Ziggy. Badges is the command for the badge. If you do ! badges. And hello, how are you? That's all the information that you need. But we are done streaming. Oh, is he still live? Coding Train is still. I thought he was. I guess he's probably ending right now. He's ending because he was only supposed to go till midnight. Regardless, thank you, Freeholto, for that follow. Did CJ just call Doc an alien? No, somebody in the chat did. Nazmul said Doc is an alien. All right. This is using some bit shifting. Parse int unshift. Yeah, that's kind of the way to do it. Base. Wait, what? This is a hashtag joke. Did they? Oh, they actually implemented big int. I see. So they just copy and pasted the implementation of big int into the function and just called it. This is a joke. Okay. All right. I'm done. Thank you all for watching. I believe. Yeah, Coding Train's still streaming. If you're on YouTube, if you like YouTube, head over to Coding Train and watch him there. We're going to find someone to raid here on Twitch. I appreciate you all. Thanks for all the supports. Thanks for all the resubs. Thanks for believing in me. So, shout out to all the supports and the people that are continuing to give me money. They've been around for a month. I don't think we'll do an unofficial raid. I don't want to spam his chat because there's a lot of people watching already. But you can send, if you go to his chats, just send a green heart. Don't say you're from Coding Garden. Just send a green heart. Thank you to Gaiman Metkeys, who subscribed on Twitch Prime, I believe, when I was not streaming. I appreciate you. Thanks, David, for the resub. Thank you, Acid Spark, for the resub. Refactorer and Alka and X Davila with the Twitch Prime sub. Thank you, X Davila, for remembering to click that button. Because I will say, if you subscribe with Twitch Prime, it actually runs out every month. And if you do want to support me, you'll have to click that button again. So I appreciate you, Xdavila. And yes, thank you very much, Acid Spark. Silver Server with the 300 bits. Unhot with the Twitch Prime sub. Again, Unhot went and actually clicked that button. I appreciate you. Murdoch with the tier 1 sub. Sorali with the tier 1 sub. Laser with the new Twitch Prime sub. Jance with 100 bits. And Cool Emer with 100 bits. I appreciate you all. Thank you for the support. We're getting dangerously close to 345 subs. What's gonna happen when we reach it? I don't know. The Twitch Prime sub is more personal. The rest of us can set it and forget it. I guess that's true, but technically you can cancel it. Whereas with Twitch Prime, you have to remember to click the button. I'll click it once it allows me. Well, thank you, Andrew. All right. Does the counter count resubs? No, it's just the total number of subscribers. And thank you, Kakadestro, for that follow. And I'm happy with how today turned out. Like we actually got that functional HTML thing going. And then we built an adder in 12 minutes, so that was fun. Okay. Thanks for watching. Tune in Friday morning. I think we'll do a Clash of Code because we haven't done that this week yet, and Clash of Code is always fun. So Friday morning at 7:30 a.m. GMT minus 6, I'll be live again. Oh, don't forget the raid messages. You go to raidmessages.now.sh. You can copy and paste them from there. If you're a sub, this is your raid message. If you're not a sub, this is your raid message. And wherever we go, show some love, drop a follow, be nice, all that good stuff. So wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night. And until next time, here's this.